Hello everybody and welcome to the United Stand. This is your latest Manchester United transfer news where we talk about all the latest United transfer news and give it that real fan opinion. And we're going to talk about Romelu Lukaku to start off with, but we've got Dybala, Alderweireld, Rakitic, a little bit about Bruno and Maguire as usual, a little bit about Longstaff, a little about Pepe as well. But let's start off with Lukaku because Italian reports last night were talking about a new bid for Romelu Lukaku involving Ivan Perisic. Now, what I read, and there's a bit of contrast here, but what I read was that United can have 55 million euros plus Perisic or around 70 million pounds outright, which will include add-ons. Now, this, to me, is a bit of a concern because Lukaku clearly wants to go to Inter Milan, but Inter Milan clearly don't have the money that Manchester United want for Lukaku. United apparently want around 70 million pounds in pocket, not including add-ons in their pocket, which Inter Milan clearly don't have, which is why they're having to chuck players forward that they think Manchester United might go, So would you take 55 million euros plus Perisic, which is about 50 million pounds plus Perisic, or would you take instead around 70 million pounds sterling, which is probably involving add-ons? So, unfortunately not Raheem. So the reality is with that, Perisic is a good player. I thought he even looked quite good when he came on in the second half against us in the pre-season game at the weekend, but he's 30. He's 30 years of age. And Perisic should have come to this club. I remember 2 years ago when we were talking about Perisic, and some people were like, he's too old at 28. What are they going to say about him at 30? And I must agree, that is not what Manchester United are meant to be about under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. We're meant to be about a rebuild. And what would Perisic mean with Sanchez already there for the likes of a Chong or a Greenwood? It's not the right winger to bring in. And I just wouldn't do the deal if I was United. So it's a short-term fix. It's papering the cracks. He's just not the sort of player that United should look at. As much as he's good, and if Ollie decides that's what he wants to do, I will back it. But I don't think Perisic at his age, unfortunately, is what we need. But having said that, you know what? I said the other day, I'd take Bale over nobody. So, and if it means getting rid of, I'm convincing myself live on air now. I'd come into the show thinking no, but then I'm thinking if it's Perisic in and Lukaku out and 50 million pounds, or we keep Lukaku, I probably would. I've just done it. I've just bloody done it live on the show. Right, if you're telling me we don't sell Lukaku or we sell him for 50 million and Perisic, do the deal. There we go. I'm going to be decisive. Of course I am. If you're telling me we either keep Lukaku or we take Perisic and 50 million, I'll take 50 million and Perisic. Definitely. Yeah, because you've got 50 million you can use and you've got a decent player. Yeah, I'll do it. I'll do the deal. Despite what I just said, I'd do the deal. If it's a choice between getting 70 million and then going for Pepe, though, obviously I'd prefer that, just to quantify. So, but look, I think Lukaku needs to go, is what I'm trying to say. Staying in Italy, interestingly, I think it was Corriere dello Sport are basically saying that United are looking to do that. They want the money from Lukaku to go and get Nicola Pepe, which is what we were talking about yesterday about Napoli wanting Pepe and United being a main rival to them, according to sources in Italy. Well, they're now saying that United want to sell Lukaku to fund that deal, and I would prefer that we got the money to get Nicola Pepe than the Perisic one, but let's keep an eye on that. I think the main thing is that we get rid of Lukaku. Now, let's start off with the man in the middle, Dybala. Now, Dybala is an interesting one because Dybala is a player that we have been linked to a lot throughout the summer. He's also a player that Juventus are looking to sell. So you've got to take note of that. Also, Pogba and Dybala are very good friends. So is Pogba going to stay? Could we bring Dybala in? What I would say is I like Dybala as a footballer. But the reason he's not a success at Juventus anymore, because they've got Ronaldo there, is because consistently he can't be the star player in that team. He has got issues with consistency. He doesn't always start for Argentina. He doesn't always start for Juventus now. He's surplus to requirements at Juventus. And at 25, that's a bit, he shouldn't be. He should be. But Dybala a couple of years ago was being spoken about as being one of the world's best players. He's fallen off that shelf. Some people, some United fans think, bring him to United and we'll make him that player he could have been. I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure that his game actually suits the Premier League and what people think he is. He's got a very odd style on the ball, almost a little bit slow at times. He's a good player, and on his day he's a very good player, but I'm not convinced he's what United need, because he's not super fast. He's sort of like, if you've got Mata Dybala's better than Mata, but why would you keep Mata and then bring Dybala in? It doesn't make sense to me. He's not the sort of player I think United need at the moment. As much as I like him, I just don't think he is the sort of player that we need. And maybe we're being mentioned constantly because we do get mentioned, because PSG have also been mentioned by Tuttosport. But I bring it to your attention because we are being linked with Dybala again. But interestingly enough, I think if Juventus wanted to sell us Dybala, they probably want Pogba anyway, which I don't think Pogba wants to go there. Sport from Spain are talking about Ivan Rakitic, and there is a quote from Ivan Rakitic as well, basically saying that he wants to stay at Barcelona, but if that's not going to happen, he's open to offers, and apparently about 40 million quid. And again, he is a player that we have been consistently linked with, probably for the last 2 years, to be honest, but certainly quite a lot over the last 6 months. And look, Rakitic, I will be adamant on this. I do not want Rakitic at Manchester United. He is 31 years of age. Yes, he's a midfielder, and I'll come to whether I'd rather have Rakitic than nobody in a moment, because that's sort of the situation we're in at the moment as United fans. Every deal, we almost have to look at it and go, well, we're not looking at it with the same eyes as May anymore. In May, nobody wanted Bale. Now, with 2 weeks to go, people are thinking, well, it might be Bale or nobody. I'd rather have that. And that's the precarious situation we're in. But with Rakitic, I just don't see what Rakitic would bring. Why would that deal be good for us or for him? 31 years of age, very, very good midfielder, but playing in a league that's a lot slower than ours, with a lot more easier games than ours. Coming to England, the fast-paced Premier League, combative, pressed all the time. We saw what happened to Rakitic at Anfield for Liverpool. He got absolutely swamped. And is that what United need? Do you want a midfielder that's going to be a little bit, swamped and a bit out of his depth, and he's 31? And more importantly, do you want a 31-year-old? What's the future of a 31-year-old? Maybe United are thinking, well, we've got Pereira and McTominay, an old head for a year or two would be good. I don't agree. I think that there are midfielders out there that we all know are out there that would be far better signings, that would be here for 5 or 6 years. Bruno Fernandes, Thomas Partey. There are options out there for United, and I think they need to be looking at those, not the Rakitic sort of signing. Would I sign Rakitic if it was him or nobody? Would you? Would you sign him if it was him or nobody? I'll ask you again. Would you rather keep Lukaku, or would you rather take 55 million and Perisic if you've only got those two choices? And in the midfield, if it's no midfielders or Rakitic, would you take the deal? And to be honest with you, again, I think I would have to say yes, because we're so short in the midfield. I think I would take Rakitic. And that isn't being flippant. I don't want Rakitic to come to United. I don't think he's a very good signing. But we are in that bad situation now where you're almost thinking, well, if it's him or nobody, I'd rather have something. At the end of the day, it's like walking walking across, broken glass for a mile, isn't it? Would you rather walk across it in a nice pair of Adidas trainers, or do you want to walk across it in bloody paper flip-flops? Well, you're going to pick, if it's a choice between the paper flip-flops and nothing, you're going to wear the paper flip-flops because it offers you some protection, albeit not the protection you really want, the nice Adidas ones. So it's better than bare feet is what I'm trying to say, but United shouldn't be about that. Toby Alderweireld is on there as well. I think it was Andy Goldstein from TalkSport put a tweet out. Obviously on the call-in last night, somebody said that they would take Toby Alderweireld over Harry Maguire. My stance on this is, and I suppose it fits in with Rakitic and Perisic and Bale as well, is that this is not what we're meant to be doing. This is not the rebuild we're being sold. The players that we're meant to be looking at are the Wan-Bissakas, the Daniel James, the Bruno Fernandes, the Sean Longstaff, the player that's not quite there yet but it's going to come here, be in awe of the club and grow with us. That's what we're looking at. And Harry Maguire for a centre-back, because you're not really going to pick up a 21-year-old centre-back who's at the top of their game. De Ligt was a consideration, but obviously we couldn't do that deal. So, Harry Maguire in relation to centre-backs is still young at 26, and he's got plenty of years left in the clock. But Alderweireld is going to be 31 this season. He's a paper in the crack centre-back. You could say, well, you know what? He could come in for 2 years. Twansibi comes in. Then you've got Twansibi and Lindelof. You could do that. For 25 million, you could do that. And maybe that's what you're thinking. But for me, Harry Maguire's more long-term. There's more stability in it. And it's better for what United are trying to achieve in the rebuild. So, look, I would take Maguire over Alderweireld. A lot of people would take Alderweireld. But interestingly, there's a quote from him as well, because everyone's talking at the moment because they're on the tour and stuff, aren't they? So Toby Alderweireld has basically said, where my head is, I'll be at Spurs next season. And my theory on Alderweireld, I've said it a few times, is a lot of fans thought, well, he's available for 25 million, just offer the money and he'll go. You're forgetting the most important thing. There's a release clause and the Spurs can't stop it happening. The only person who stops it happening is Toby Alderweireld. Do you think there isn't a club in the world that hasn't offered that 25 million release clause for Toby Alderweireld? Come on. Somebody will have done it. It's an absolute bargain. Whether it's Bournemouth, Everton, somebody will have done it. Maybe more than one club. He just will have said no. Because for him to do it, it's got to be the project that he wants to do. But the most important consideration is this. In a year's time, Toby Alderweireld will still be playing high-level football. 31. Look at Godin's just gone from Atletico Madrid to Inter Milan at 33 for a very good wage. Alderweireld's only going to be 31 in a year's time. But more importantly, Alderweireld will be out of contract in a year's time. So instead of Spurs getting 25 million, they'll get nothing, and Alderweireld will be in the money. He'll get massive wages and a signing on fee that's massive. If he goes now, Spurs get 25 million and his wages won't be anywhere near from the club that he goes to because they've got to give 25 million to Spurs. I think Alderweireld's staying at Spurs, not signing a new contract, and then he's off next summer for the dough. Do re mi. That's what I think he's going to do. I do. So yeah, I spoke about Pepe as well. But get your comments in below on everything. I do feel that we are at that point now where we almost are. Any bit of transfer news, you initially look at a player like Rakitic and go, no. But then you've almost got to have it in your head because it's only like 2 weeks, the day after tomorrow, left of the transfer window. 2 weeks on Thursday, it closes. 2 bloody weeks. So you are sort of thinking now, well, I would have rather have that than nothing. Bruno Fernandes, obviously, over in America at the moment. He's going to be playing Liverpool tomorrow night. I know you can guarantee there'll be stories about Liverpool signing Bruno Fernandes because that's how the press work. I still believe we're going to get him, but if we don't get him, it's on the board. Harry Maguire, I still think we're going to get him, but as I said last night, the reason the deals are taking so long now is this. Harry Maguire wants to come to United. Leicester will sell to United. Bruno Fernandes wants to come to United. Sporting Lisbon will sell to United. Solskjaer wants those players. Why are they not here? Because Manchester United's people who are in charge of transfers, which isn't Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, won't pay the going rate. They're trying to work deals out cheaply. They won't pay the going rate. And we heard Ole say this on the press conference a couple of press conferences ago. We won't be held to ransom. We're not going to pay over the odds. The problem at Manchester United is they think they're being held for ransom because the people doing the deals aren't football people. When Sporting Lisbon say they want £60 million, they're not holding you to ransom. He's worth £60 million. And if you were football people, you'd know that. You're not being mugged off. Harry Maguire, the reason they want 75 to £80 million is because in the current market and all the factors about him being England's best centre-back, playing in the Premier League proven, Van Dijk went for 75 million 18 months ago. They're right. He's worth that money. But I think United have got people in charge who think, they're not. Because they don't think they're worth that money, because they don't understand the world of football. Because I tell you now, Bruno Fernandes and Harry Maguire, if we sign Bruno Fernandes for 60 million and we sign Harry Maguire for 80 million, I'm going to be sat there thinking, why did we take 6 weeks to barter that deal? That's what they were worth 6 weeks ago. Why didn't we just bloody pay it? But we don't do it. It's like Wan-Bissaka. We spent £50 million on Wan-Bissaka. We spent all of June negotiating the deal. I could have told you on June the 1st he was worth 50 million. And that's the evidence there for you. United are bartering deals below what a player's worth. And yet we're meant to be trying to make ground up on Liverpool and City. We're meant to be having a rebuild, but we've got people in charge who are bartering deals below their value of these players. If Sporting Lisbon wanted 150 million, I'd say, right, try and get Bruno Fernandes, but don't pay 150 million, get him down to 60. But don't be going below 60 and trying to barter it down there when he's worth 60. Pay what they're bloody worth. You're not being mugged off. And we could have had these players done a long time ago. That's what's irritating me. These deals are there to be done. If they're not done, it's because of the plonkers who are involved in these deals. Thanks everyone for watching. I still think we'll get them done, by the way. Please do smash a like on the video. Make sure you subscribe if you're new. Obviously, we will have a vlog from China today. The first vlog from China is going up. So I'm looking forward to that because I've never been to China and I want to see what it's all about. So looking forward to that from Flex and Josh. And we will go live if there's any breaking news, of course. If not, 8 o'clock tonight. Thanks for watching. I'll speak to you all soon.